Shalom Uvracha, friends. I hope everybody's doing well. Ziyata D'Shmaya. So we continue our learning of Tarach of Hey, Tarach ayin Gimel in Timyana, where we've been learning about tehillim, about espoididus, in preparation for being able to jump into the Likutey Halachas, Hilchos Rosh Chodesh Halacha Hey, which is founded on these two teachings. So that's the ultimate goal where we've been trying to get together as a global chabura, an international network of Yidden who are all focused on learning these teachings together. What a schus, what a privilege. And this Likutey Halachas, Reb Nassim says in the beginning, is going to take us through Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkos, the Arba Minim, Hoshana Rabbah, Shmini Atzeres, and so on. This whole process, so obviously it's very relevant to be learning this time of year, a huge zechus. So Reb Nassim begins the Likutey Halachas over here by speaking about the Kabbalistic idea that's based on a Medrash that tells us that Adam and Chava were originally created du partsufim. They were originally created connected at the back, conjoined, with their faces facing in opposite directions as one entity, as one being. And the Medrash describes how HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts Adam Rishon into a dormita, into a very deep sleep, a tardema, a very intense slumber. And in that slumber, HaKadosh Baruch Hu essentially performs maybe the first surgery in creation, and it's what's called the Nesira. HaKadosh Baruch Hu saws Chava, so to speak, apart from Adam, separates them, and Chava is her own entity, and now they can turn around and they can be facing each other panim b'panim. That's the Medrash, and so the Arizal understands that this concept of understanding Adam and Chava originally having been conjoined and then separated, turned around to be able to interact panim b'panim is actually a metaphor, and really the underlying spiritual process that HaKadosh Baruch Hu underwent to create all of creation as a whole. Most specifically, Knesset Yisrael, Am Yisrael, the quintessence of the human race, which is conscious in a very expansive way, in the most expansive way that we find throughout all of creations, beyond domain, beyond sameach, beyond chai, and ultimately the consciousness of Medaber, which is Tzelem Elokim. So the creation of that consciousness, as well as all of existence as we perceive it, as the conscious Medaber, all of that, says the Ari HaKadosh, is encoded in this Medrash, where ultimately all of existence, all of Metzius was within HaKadosh Baruch Hu's being, Kiviyachal, within the Ein Sof. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when it was Allah B'Ritzoynai, which is all ideas that are very difficult to understand, but ultimately the Ar Ein Sof, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Ratzon, decides for the Tzimtzum, the concealment, the constriction, so to speak, of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's selfhood, Kiviyachal, to the extent that existence can perceive itself as something separate from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak. And that human beings could be conscious of creation as if ki'ilu it was something separate, like Chava being split off from Adam, only for the purpose of then being able to turn back to face our source in a way of panim b'panim and to have a yichud, which would be impossible to have otherwise, kiviyachol, so to speak, where in an incredible way there's a tosefas kishut, there's something that's gained, there's a ravcha de milsa that's gained from HaKadosh Baruch Hu's unity being kiviyachol, again, as it were, at least perceivable from our end, as being split off, separate, which is the idea of the sphere of Malchus, which becomes the Shechina, which becomes our capacity for consciousness, separated from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where we can perceive ourselves as being capable of making our own autonomous choices. We perceive ourselves as separate, split off from the divine, split off from others, like Chava, cut away, so to speak, from Adam, only for the purpose of then being able to be miyachid back to our shirish in a way that is the deepest gilui of the yichud of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where Hashem's achdus is so absolutely one that even within a realm of apparent separateness, of duality, of fragmentation, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's unity may be discovered even in the lowest, darkest pockets of that existence. Going back to the Nvav, hafilu ba'astara, shebesoicha astara, no, bevadai gam sham nimtza Hashem Yisbarach. Even there we can find the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even there we can find the Ar of Yashrus, which Rabbi Nachman tells us in Sichas Ran begins behechrich at some point in a person's journey. Even though it might take a person a long time to uncover the yashros, there's always a red line of morality where a person will not cross, and that's obviously, the lowest darga. But obviously, as a person climbs the ladder and rises from the sulam that's mutzav arza to rise to the Rosh Magiah Shemaima, it's revealed how lehepech, this place is filled with HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence. Maloi chala aretz kavaydai, Chava and Adam are reunited, and in their reuniting, in the Vayeda Adam as Chava Ishta, which is only possible when they're split off and they perceive themselves as two separate entities, as two kruvim. So there's the possibility of ibor and birth, ultimately, that again in metaphor allows for the revelation of a new reality, so to speak, that didn't or couldn't exist. Al pi the Ratzon Hashem couldn't have existed all the while that Chava, that creation, that the human consciousness is still subsumed within Adam, within HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvaydai.